Okay, today we're going to be talking about how to convert an equation from standard form to slope-intercept form. We have been graphing equations and finding slopes and y-intercepts for equations and writing equations in slope-intercept form, but we have not yet looked at standard form very closely. We did kind of look at it when we found x and y-intercepts, but we did not really refer to it as a specific form. So let's look at standard form a little bit closer. For the standard form of an equation, it's always going to be in the form of ax plus by equals c. Now, the ones that you have will have some numbers in there. They will not be all letters. The numbers will go in place of a, b, and c. You will have coefficients a and b that are for x and y, and then you will have a c, which will be the number without a variable over there by itself. We're going to talk about how we refer to those things. So that ax right there, whatever number is with x, is always referred to as the x term. And then the by would be, the number with y would be referred to as the y term. And then the number over there by itself with no variable would be referred to as your constant. And let's look at that in light of having numbers in place of a, b, and c. So this should look sort of familiar to you, maybe not completely, but a little bit. And then, of course, in this one, 3x is our x term, 2y is our y term, and 8 is our constant. Knowing how we're going to refer to these is only important for when we talk about how we rearrange this equation. So let's look a little bit at the slope-intercept form. Just remind ourselves that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where y is the slope and b is the y-intercept. X and y there are just the points that are on the line y equals mx plus b. And if we want to convert using x and y-intercepts, that's the first method we're going to look at. So we have 4x minus 3y equals 12 that we want to convert to slope-intercept form. If you will remember when we found x and y-intercepts, and if you're a little bit rusty on that, you may want to go review that video. But in that video, we talked about that when we want to find the x-intercept, we have to let y equal 0. So when we do that, the 3y, the minus 3y drops out of the equation, and we just have 4x equals 12. And then we divide both sides by 4, and we get x equals 3, which tells us that our y-intercept is at the point 3, 0. And now to find the y-intercept, we're going to let x equal 0. So the 4x is going to drop out of the equation, and we just have negative 3y equals 12. And when we divide by negative 3, we get y equals negative 4, and our y-intercept is at the point 0, negative 4. And now we're going to plot those on the graph that is there. So we're going to plot 3 on the x-axis, and there it is. And then we're going to plot negative 4 on the y-axis, and there it is. Now, to write an equation in slope-intercept form, we have to have a slope and an intercept. We have our y-intercept, and we need to find a slope. So from negative 4, we're going to count up 4 units, which will be positive 4, and then we're going to go right 3 units, which will be positive 3. And then we know that we have a slope of positive 4 over positive 3, which will give us 4/3. So we're going to write our equation in y equals mx plus b form. And we have b is negative 4 because that's our y-intercept. Our slope is positive 4 over positive 3, which is 4/3. So our equation, when we substitute m and b into the equation, is y equals 4/3 x minus 4. And we've done it. We've converted 4x minus 3y equals 12 into the equation in slope-intercept form of y equals 4/3 x minus 4. All right? Another way we can do this, because graphing is pretty cumbersome, but another way we can do this is to just rearrange the equation itself as if we were solving for a letter, but we can't actually get a number. We're going to be left with an equation. So let's look at that a little bit closer. We're going to have 2x plus 3y equals 9. And we want y to be on the side all by itself. So we want to move everything away from y as if we're solving for y. The first step in doing that is to get that 2x over to the other side. So we're going to subtract the x term from both sides. And when we do that, we're left with 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. That x term, when it's subtracted from both sides, it cancels on the left-hand side, and it shows up on the right-hand side as negative 2x. Then we're going to divide by the coefficient of y. In this case, that is 3. So when we divide each piece by 3, we get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3, because negative 2 divided by 3, just leave it as negative 2/3. That would be a nasty repeating decimal, and we don't want that. We want a rise and a run. So we want fractions in this case. I know you spend most of your life running scared from them, but right now we want them. And then we have 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our converted form is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. Now we could use that to graph it. We could have also graphed this line using x and y intercepts. But for right now, the goal is just simply to convert the equation from one form to the other so that we could easily identify the slope and the y-intercept of 2x plus 3y equals 9. All right, you will have some practice with this. Hopefully that hasn't been too bad, and it will be relatively painless. Have a good day.